Come closer, Sheikh. Come closer.
You're just going to go live now.
Just start it, Shaz. طيب إن شاء الله. Tomorrow I will get a message to you. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وصلوات الله وسلامه على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا رب الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's good to see you all again. MashaAllah, jazakumullahu khaira. I appreciate everyone coming on time. The delay was for once not from our side, but because of a very important reminder, which I will repeat again for the benefit of the online students. As of this morning, as Sheikh Salim al-Stawani informed us, and he is our Imam here, he informed us of a further development, a intentional development in the ratcheting up by the Zionists, by the Israeli forces, to try and provoke and to try and the plan is in play now. Everything, of course, the Israeli plan is not some random one. They plan years in advance, and on Al-Aqsa cannot be done without a precursor of weakening Gaza first, and then ensuring that the country Palestine is divided, both at the major level and then certainly Al-Aqsa as well. And you would have seen this rhetoric building up. The masjid closed the other day, the masjid invaded the other day, and today it was invaded again by the Israeli forces, this time in its most provocative manner, and they showed very little regard for the masjid, the haram that it is. Normally they have some kind of control. They know how bad it looks when they enter upon Al-Aqsa, but they went all the way inside and they injured a number of our brothers who were there inside. Situation is very, very serious, very, very serious. And this is a reminder to everyone who is listening that Al-Aqsa is as Islamic as Islam itself. A lot of people sometimes get tired by the pro-Palestinian rhetoric. There's a lot of that here in the UK. It's different in the US and other countries because they suffer from very strong Zionist lobbies. Ours here is not so strong. And here there are many people who feel very guilty, and correctly so, about England's or the UK involvement in the creation of the Zionist state as well. And so pro-Palestinian efforts are very prominent here in the UK, but unfortunately you find, and I do tend to find, that a lot of Muslims get tired with that. They tend to kind of feel that it gets more airtime than maybe Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, a number of other country trouble spots around the world that we have managing in this country. And I want you to know very clearly, remind myself and everyone else, that concern for Al-Aqsa does not decrease at concern for any other Muslim country or area or any other cause. And that's a level of immaturity which I don't expect from practicing Muslims. And frankly, you need to know that if we're going to get, push comes to shove, then Al-Aqsa is more important than Pakistan and Kashmir and whatever. If you want to really go down that line and be ignorant, then we can also be ignorant back as well. It doesn't need this kind of level of conversation. Al-Aqsa it's not possible to love Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to not love Al-Aqsa and be concerned about Al-Aqsa and hurt when Al-Aqsa is hurt. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam led all of the prophets at Al-Aqsa, and that could have been any on this planet, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose it to be Al-Aqsa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the majority of our prophets in this Bilad al-Sham, in this Al-Quds, in this sanctuary of Palestine. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took his prophet on the journey, the most incredible moment of his life, on the most incredible moment that he ever experienced, as he authentically said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Mi'raj. So the heart does not combine, the believer's heart will always combine love of Allah, love of his messenger, and love of Al-Aqsa. And that is something that we all need to remember, and every little effort. And don't look to me now and say, what can we do, because we can't do anything right now in terms of the material kind of change of power tomorrow. That's not going to happen. This is a long-term game, and what it requires is for everyone firstly to get rid of this ignorance that I just mentioned a few minutes ago, that people need to realize that this is our cause. If you're going to be a Muslim, then this is what comes next. This is what you stand up for. If a person became Muslim today, we will say to him tomorrow that Al-Aqsa is part of our faith. This is the third most holiest place in Islam, and this is something which needs to be thought about, needs to be considered, needs to be educated about. We need to learn about it, tell our children, tell our families, and make sure that one day that we are ready. If it requires an intellectual defense or a financial defense or even a physical defense, then so be it. That is the haqq of Al-Aqsa upon us. Blood is before Al-Aqsa every day and tomorrow as well. So Jazakumullah khair for your patience on that matter. And Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar, as you know, we like Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar to recite as much as possible for us, but he doesn't like to do that, I don't know why, to like the special events. And today, alhamdulillah, is a very, very special event. It is the start of the year, and it's the start of barakah. He was going to recite from Surah Fussilat, but I asked him instead, in honor and in reminder of Al-Aqsa, to recite from verses. So I'll pass it over to Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا وقضينا إلى بني إسرائيل في الكتاب لتفسدن في الأرض مرتين ولتعلن علوا كبيرا فإذا جاء وعد أولاهما بعثنا عليكم أولي بأس شديد فجاسوا خلال الديار وكان وعدا مفعولا ثم رددنا لكم الكرة عليهم وأمددناكم بأموال وبنين وجعلناكم أكثر نفيرا إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم وإن أسأتم فلها فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة ليسوءوا وجوهكم وليدخلوا المسجد كما دخلوه أول مرة وليتبروا ما علوا تتبيرا عسى ربكم أن يرحمكم وإن عدتم عدنا وجعلنا جهنم للكافرين حصيرا.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, that was Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar. We are so happy, wallahi, when he recites. We are the most fortunate masjid in the world, wallahi, to have Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar recite for us every single day. Every single day. Allah Ta'ala. A reminder. This is the good thing? So for the people who are the first time, you've just experienced what will happen every few minutes. Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar will make some random comment on the left hand side. The class will stop. We'll all just turn over, trying to work out what he said, and then translate it, and then get a commentary, and then refute him. But that's something which you'll get used to. So obviously, you guys are all used to this. This is obviously our third year now, starting by the mercy and the grace of Allah and His generosity, alhamdulillah. But we are joined by an awful number of new students. I know because I've been seeing the people who've been signing up, and I've just been returning from some travels, and I've been seeing a lot of students who've been coming up to me and saying so forth. So we expect at least over 1,000 new students today. So alhamdulillah, the old students are a patient lot. Yeah, so we'll just put those guys on the side for a minute, and we'll talk a few random things that are in the benefit of the people who are at home. So logical progression, what is it? Well, technically, if you're going to be very, very accurate, then it is a fiqh class where we study a text, a small essay that was written by a classical scholar, a Hanbali scholar, a scholar that belonged to the school of fiqh that was founded by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And this text is called Zad al-Mustaqni'. Now, these classical texts are difficult to read because they're very short, but they require extensive commentary. And so what we decided to do is to use, to create a class which we call logical progression. And the reason we call it logical progression is because the author, Shaykh al-Uthaymin, alayhi rahmatullah, who's passed away now, one of the most prominent fuqaha or jurists of the last 100 years, frankly, in my opinion. When he wrote this commentary, and he wrote a long, detailed commentary to this small essay, he called the Al-Sharh al-Mumti', the nice, enjoyable commentary, the pleasurable commentary, the nice commentary to Zad al-Mustaqni'. Now, when he wrote this book, he writes it in a manner where at the very, very beginning, he starts basically the text that we're studying in a logical way. All fiqh texts, all texts on Islamic law start in logical fashion. It starts by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reminding us all of who we are, why we're here, and then moving straight into the most essential aspects that we will. Now, most people will recognize that there are certain aspects in life that they will sometimes do, sometimes not do, such as, for example, businesses and certain types of business and certain types of contracts. And if people get in trouble, then the issues of law and retaliation. And if people are going to get married or maybe even divorced and so on. These are things which do not necessarily all happen. Some happen to some don't happen to others. And these are therefore not as immediately, they're not as important, because they are, but they're not as immediately important as those individual acts of worship that we have to do every single day. And of course, at the very head of those acts of worship is salah, and of course, before prayer can be done, it is purification. So this purification is always the place. That is why we will start with purification. But the reason this class is more than a fiqh class is because Shaykh Uthaymin doesn't hesitate to make a number of points about our creed, about our belief, about our iman, about the purification of the heart, about our priorities, about various issues, controversies, and so on, whilst we're actually moving forward in the text itself, which makes it a really, mashallah, a wonderful experience for a student, and even better for a teacher to be able to use as a guide. So this class basically uses logical progression. Is a class which loosely is based upon the commentary. I will mention some points, leave the other points out, and then we will basically and we'll move forward. We have no time limit on this class. We do it every Wednesday for about an hour, and the end date, 100 years, 50. We started off with a 20-year, 30-year project, and every lesson we have, it normally increases by about a year or so. But I've got many pieces of good news, alhamdulillah, for this year. For this year, obviously year 3, it's a new year. We've got many new things. We always like to throw in new things. The problem of putting new things in is that we run out of new things to actually do. But this is the biggest launch, of course, for a long time. Bigger maybe than the original launch, because we have a brand new, amazing portal, which unfortunately everyone who's here is not going to enjoy. But then hopefully we can make up for it with chocolates that will be provided by some generous benefactors that will sometimes donate. And so that will be their advantage. As for everyone else around the world that are watching, then they will see that, of course, they have a portal now, which is, mashallah, one that will continue to improve, and that I will go through as well in this class. Just very quickly, logicalprogression.org is the website. Once you're registered, you're in. You will arrive at a dashboard. At the moment now, there's an introduction video and some notes and a message from Shazad has to be one of the most funniest messages in the entire history of messages from the Amir. And I want to make sure that Shazad, who has been so super miserable and angry over the last couple of weeks, does not escape in one single way from all the pain that he has caused to all of the members of our team. Well, he will have revenge exacted upon him in a wonderfully tasty fashion. Don't you worry. So the message is on the dashboard, and then on the dashboard itself, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see this develop to become a personalized experience for every student. Time a student goes to a particular lesson and puts a question, for example, when that question has been answered by one of the academic team, then the notification will say that your question has been answered. You can go and check it out as well. When you go to the live session online, then you will see in front of you the live, which is the only thing you want to see if you just want to see just the video, nothing else. But if you scroll down, then the screen does like this amazing mashallah trick, and the video moves on to the left hand side, and on the right hand side then you've got this kind of the study box. We call it the box. I feel like that what's it called, that Steve Jobs or whatever his name was. I don't want to say the other guy because you know what happened to the other guy. Yeah Now we know why iPhone 6s are bent. Huh? You like that one? She's like, go on, you did very good, yeah? Okay, then there we go. Okay. Bobs, you like that one? Yeah? That's alright, yeah. Okay. I did that in another class and I got in a lot of trouble for it. So anyway, I don't want to use the word cook here, and let's use Steve Jobs. The study box. We call it the study box. That's what he said, isn't it? We call it this. So the study box basically has a combination of comments that anyone can make at any time, and please feel free to give salam and someone will respond. I like to go back and every night and check the comments, and I'll be getting involved as well. There's a resources tab. If anyone wants to actually share something or share some notes or something like that, then please feel free to do so. And then there's a question tab as well. If you want to put a question in, then you can write it and someone will answer it. The academic team instantly or after the lesson as well. And if you just want to view any of those three, then you just click on the tab and you will see everything underneath. You'll see above that another tab which will allow you to see the class notes for today. So those are the Arabic original notes and the translation, which is the actual notes. Very short couple of lines that just gives you context of exactly what we're studying. And then for those advanced students that are really looking to mine this class for more details, then the final tab is actually the book itself, Ash-Sharh al-Mumti'. And when you click on that, the full Arabic page, the PDF, and you'll be able to go down and so on. And what we're developing is that on the video on the left hand side underneath it, this box here will be a place where you can actually write your notes all in the same screen whilst watching the video above, whilst seeing the text, which to be honest is pretty awesome. And inshallah, by His grace and mercy, we're going to improve that experience as well. Please feel free to give feedback on that. So that's the actual live page. And of course what will happen is that straight after the lesson, a few minutes after the lesson, then the video will be uploaded. It works like that. So if you missed the lesson or you live in a different time zone, and a shout out again to my Malaysians because they're the best students, and they're always there's a few of them that do mashallah wake up early in the morning, because it's not like 4 o'clock in the morning for them, and they do wake up for the lesson because they're mashallah dedicated folks. That's why we love Malaysians, and they smile a lot as well. But those guys are and so whoever, if you miss a lesson or whatever, then you can see it. It'll be on the portal. Just go there and everything, the comments will be all there. And then obviously every week then a new page will be there, but that entire page for that lesson will be saved in the resources tab. And that means that any time you can go back to another lesson and see the video and get the audio download and get the podcast, listen to it in more detail on the way to work or whatever on your iPhone or your Android or whatever. And the questions will be there as well. There will be some further functionality there. You've already seen how the exam center works, and there's a few other things that we'll be developing later. The forums will also then be imported into this, so it will be one shop stop. Basically, come here, everything will be there, and hopefully it will enhance the study experience as well, inshallah. So that's massive new, massive new for this class. Other thing which is new is, alhamdulillah, we fixed all internet problems. What a mission that was. And now alhamdulillah we have a very high quality stable internet connection, and it cost us an arm and a leg, but it's worth every single penny, because we make sure that we use the full power of the portal using this now connection. And I guess that we should mention the costs. Alhamdulillah, this class has been brought to you for the last 2 years by the of a number of partners. Our two main partners, First Ethical and this is their last year of their support, and that's because of our reason as well. That's because of our decision, and they've been the most generous of all, and we thank them for that, and they will continue to support this class for this next year. And also our main partner, and actually this is effectively their program of online long-term study, Al Maghrib Institute, and so we wanted to say Jazakumullah khair to them for allowing this class to continue. We want to thank the people who already have standing orders set up to allow this work to continue. And this lesson, I was asked by a number of people that contacted me that they wanted to donate. We do not want donations for this effort. A number of the people who started to who have been supporting this project and the spreading of prophetic guidance's attempt at getting knowledge out to people, wanted to kind of do it exclusively as much as possible themselves. I've opened it up today for anyone who wants to do any standing orders for today only. I will not give this opportunity again. I will take down the button and it will be closed. Anyone who wants to support this is going out to thousands upon thousands of people, and the notes will then obviously the transcribed notes will be released later as a book, which will then be given out for free as well, and that will be the most detailed presentation of fiqh and the study of the madhahib that I believe will be in English language. We're already on about 800 pages and we're only 2 years in, and I know that no one's actually read those 800 pages, but that's okay. Yeah, and it's just, at least it's there, isn't it? Someone will read those 800 pages, and you know what? It's not even meant to be read. As long as there's a good glossary at the back and a good index, mashallah, search and so on. We're moving into some next line areas. I mean, we're going to try and create an interactive PDF out of that. An interactive PDF out of that document will be the hottest property thing you've ever seen. Can you imagine this thousands of page document, and you will be able to find and click videos and audio within that actual document to be able to read the notes and be able to get references. Things are changing. It's a different world from back in the day. Lick your pencil here and write on the barsha or whatever it is, on the piece of paper. So lots of new things. I even got a new jacket for this year as well, which you'll be very happy to hear. Don't that's not this one. I didn't want to wear too much new. I didn't want to blind all the newness, you know what I'm saying? Shaykhna? I wanted to save some newness. So we'll let a little bit lessons go on, let the old kind of feeling settle, then we just start busting the new a bit more. And I also, to be honest, I know Shazad is very, very these days, and I don't want him to put nazar upon my jacket, because that is how he will get back at me. He will just, because he's so jealous, and I don't know why he has to be jealous. It's not right. If you don't like it, or if you're angry, then just say khalas. You enjoyed the jacket, and you don't have to don't have to hate me for it. So what I wanted to do, especially for the new students, before anything else, and this is essential, Shaz, if you can give me some control here, and then I don't know whether this is working. It's on the screen. So here, can you
just take it off.
Huh?
You just take it off.
I've taken it off. Oh, done. Sorry, done. Yes.
One second.
So what we're doing, I need to show you some context, for the students. They need to know, because otherwise the lesson loses its meaning. So everyone needs to know. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the rumors. This lesson will not make any sense whatsoever unless you understand a few ground rules, especially if this is your first lesson. So it's very important that there are certain characters in this experience, and this is, oh my goodness, what have I just done there? Okay, I've just drawn a black line across Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar. That's going to be new racism scandal tomorrow. Okay, but you need to know that there are certain characters that when I'm talking about, this is who they are. And you're often involved in some kind of exchange or some kind of trash talk or something in between these people. So this is Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar that you're seeing on the screen, and that is now me completely stuck. Let's get back to there, and that's Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar, and this is Nadif, mashallah. Gotta press done. Alright, that's my friend Nadif. Whenever I'm talking or being angry at someone, that would be Nadif. And then this is Abu Dhar, and any opportunity to have some fun at Abu Dhar. You gotta say those are pretty sick pair of glasses though, bismillah, mashallah, isn't it? Yeah, Abid, you can't see Abid then? You can't see. Okay. Do you want to be included, Abid? No, Abid doesn't want to be included. Okay, that's fine. No problem. So whenever I'm saying AZ, so whenever you see me say AZ, what's happening? Then that's what I'm talking about. That's AZ. These are all members of the PG team, of course. And then next, this is the gangster, the Don, the King. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this, Yani. Only mafioso sit like this. Only someone who's involved in something haram sits like this. Yeah. Sis, he's got a glass of God knows what in his glasses in his hand, yeah. And he's sitting back there, shades, this, that, knowing he's on camera, and Yani looking like that. I mean, seriously, just look. Oh my God. That's just business, yeah. So that's Shaz, okay? That's the guy who's sitting right in front of me, right there, looking at me all the time. The most miserable guy on the planet. Look at him now. Look at him. What's happening, Yara? Just cheer up, man. This is the launch day, honestly. Right. And then, of course, every time you see me talk about Bobs, well, Bobby J. Oh my God. He thought it wouldn't happen. But it did. Happy day. Oh, Bobby J. So this is Bobs. So you guys need to know about Bobs, okay? Bobs is my oldest friend amongst all these people here. He is like my first student and my worst student as well. But you'll be glad to know that I'm battering Bobs in the Fantasy League, battering him, which is something which is amazing. And also, it's important that you know that that's it, Shaz, by the way. That's all the people I wanted to show. Do best deal. So I would love for you, Shaz, to find me how to get that thingy back though. Oh, there we go. All right, brilliant. So that's the team. And you also need to know that Bob's has said, which I think is incredibly generous, because Bob's owns the dessert place on Wimslow Road called Jelani's. And he has promised free meals basically to anyone who goes in there and says, what is it, Shaz? Oh, Bob's?
You didn't get your video.
Because what free meal? For who? Okay, no, I don't want to make the guy bankrupt. Okay, no problem. Okay, then, no. Okay, so that's that. I want to just let you know that today it's obviously a shortened lesson. Well, actually, it's not a shortened lesson, but less time for us to actually start the text, because I wanted to do something specifically for all the new people who are looking at this and feeling a bit overwhelmed. I want to say to them that there's a new development. Actually, I tell all of you that there's a couple of new developments. Number one, I have changed the way that we are going to be presenting the class itself. I have discussion with some people, and as a result, we're going to be moving probably at 3 times the speed, inshallah. Or maybe even 4 times the speed, maybe even more, without trying to lose too much of the quality that Sheikh Uthaymeen brings. I don't want to lose using every page of the commentary. Do that. So we're going to be now moving a lot quicker and trying to get onto Kitab al-Salah, the book of prayer, this year, inshallah. The other new thing is that at the end of each session, we're going to have a Q&A session, ask questions on their own matters, whether about current affairs or whether questions off the topic. The point is questions off the topic will now be entertained to allow people then to benefit, and the online audience are also welcome to share anything on that. So that's what's going to happen. Now, what I want to do right now, next week, by the way, I want to review the exam. I was going to do it today, but I think that what we'll do is that there's too much to do. Too much back and forth. So next week we'll review the exam. So that's more applicable for students that have already taken it. Year 1, year 2 students. We'll just quickly go through the exam, 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and that will be next week, inshallah. But this week I wanted to summarize basically all that we've learnt in year 1 and year 2 that have missed some lessons, for those who are here who need a reminder, and for those people who have not studied before then, or have not studied fiqh before, or studied the chapter of tahara or purification before, then this will act as a good summary. And it's a bit obviously you're going to have to assume a lot, and I don't think you can write this down, and actually the students already have this. So year 1 and year 2 students, you already have this in the resources tab at the top. It's called logical progression tabulated. It's there. New students, same thing, just go to the top and you'll find it, and some people will now give you the link inshallah or direct you in the comment section. Okay, so these are the taught positions from Zad al-Mustaqni'. Sorry, so can you see it now? Yeah, it's there. Is there a line on there as well? Yeah, that's me, by the way. That's me showing my expertise at using a PDF. Okay, there we go. Right. So, obviously, this is going to be super quick and super summarized. I wanted to basically say that we started off with the chapter of water. Water is essential, and I don't mean just because water is the basic thing that we use to purify ourselves. Purification obviously has to start. We have to start with purification because that is the first thing that we need to do for all of our acts of worship. And what is purification in principle? I want you to understand that we are in states of impurity from time to time. This impurity is a state of being. It's not a physical thing all the time. We have two types of the concepts of impurity. First, something which might land on you, like feces or urine or whatever. Those are impure by themselves. And then we also become impure, but we don't physically become impure. You could touch a person or whatever, you wouldn't get impure. We are in what's called a ritual state of impurity. And that's called hadath in Arabic, when you yourself are impure because of an action or because you've been to the toilet or because of X or Y or whatever. So to lift that state of impurity, that's what it's called, lifting that state of impurity to become in a state of purity again, so that we can now go and pray and we can do other things that are important for that need purification. Then we need to use water. And water, basically, we divide into two types. Now, a quick note here. All right, we are studying, of course, a Hanbali text, okay, a school according to the Hanbali school. The reason this class is such a detailed class is because it's not a quick one, it's a very detailed one. And what we will do is that we will have the Hanbali position, and then in the text itself we will then compare the opinions of the other schools, the Hanafi school, Shafi'i school, the other schools, classically the statements of the companions which are pre the schools, and then the positions of the Salaf, those statements and opinions before the Imams, and also then afterwards we'll talk about contemporary opinions on the same issue. And we will not restrict ourselves in this class. This is not a class which is strictly going to be learning the Hanbali position. If you want it, we will give it to you and say this is what you have, and we will also then determine what our class position is based upon our own study and based upon our own permission, the permissions that I have as a teacher of your fiqh. And all of these options are open to you because we will not restrict it. So when we now mention points, these are the summarized points of our class for the last 2 years. So we say that there are two types of water. Others will say 3, others will say 4. We are now, when I say we're now going to move forward to saying this is our class position. We believe there are two types of water. Water which is pure and purifying, meaning it is pure itself to drink, like this water here. Bismillah. And also that it can be used to actually as well. We also believe that there's a second type of water which is najas, meaning that it is impure, it is filthy, and filthy water cannot be used to purify, basically. Alright, so as long as water is considered water by the people, as long as people recognize it as water, we will consider that to be pure and purifying. It's a very simple opinion. It doesn't require a lot of the kind of, inquiry and analysis that the other madhahib want. Check it like this, see it like that, this and that, whatever. As long as you see water and you consider it to be water, then it will be assumed to be pure. Now, the hadath, that state of impurity, is lifted by water and lifted by dirt. When we say by dirt, that means in the absence of water, that means of course the action of tayammum. Alright? In the absence of water, we have the ability to use fresh dirt, fresh earth, or dust, and be able to purify ourselves. We'll talk about later. Filth, we're talking physical filth. Now, whether it's on our clothes or whether it's in our area or whatever, then we believe that the place will become clean if you remove that filth by any means. It doesn't need certain types of material, certain numbers of times. We just require that it be completely removed by whatever means that you have at your disposal. Okay. Water itself, it is considered to be pure as long as something is not mixed with it. So for example, if something is mixed with it and it dominates its characteristics, for example, if grease or camphor or something which like rose, when it's mixed and it becomes so intense that it's now more identifiable as the secondary component, then it loses its title as water, which is anything which mixes with that which is soluble, such as salt, or has growth in it, such as plants and so on and so forth, does not affect the purifying nature of water. So even some water dissolved in it, and even those things, for example, mud, or for example, plants, etc., it will not be a problem to use that as well. Likewise, water will never become impure just because it is a small amount, unless the taste of that water changes, the smell of that water changes, or the color of that water changes significantly, where we see that we can't even recognize water anymore. Okay. Impure water. What do we know about impure water? We will say that impure water is impure regardless of its quantity, as long as it itself has lost its state or its description of being clean. Once it becomes najis and it appears najis to us, that is it. It is all over. And that filthy water, if we are able to remove the najasa from it, then it becomes purifying back once again. Okay, this is very useful to know if you are in London, because all of your water is filthy water. Okay, as I should know, as I fled with all of my love and care for the people of London. By the way, this lesson is going to be no problem. We expect everyone to attend now in Manchester and in London and everywhere, because our interests have all been gone. Wednesday nights was a problem. At this time, there'd be Champions League football. So obviously Manchester United decided in conjunction as one of our key sponsors, they decided to, you know what I'm saying, just give us that free slot so that we don't have any problem. And which I think was really generous, but I don't think it's even half as generous as much as Liverpool, which were amazingly generous. They actually got in, and then they decided, you know what, actually we'll just get right out now. Okay, in sympathy, they said that, you know what, it's not right that there are logical progression students that are hurting, trying to make a decision, or shall I watch the Liverpool Champions League game, or shall I watch the logical progression? And so they decided, yeah, you know what, logical progression. And so they will be out by next week. They won't be here either. That's very, very nice of them. So, you know, Jazakumullah khair. And I think that's all I want to say about water. That's the only key things you need to know about water. Things, utensils, implements, these are all pure and clean, as long as they are pure and clean. What do I mean by that? You might say that's so obvious. Well, what I mean by that is that, for example, especially packs, we have this thing about that which is owned by Hindus, we won't touch them, and those which are owned, I won't touch them. And we said that many times, especially now we just had Diwali, and a lot of packs get some stuff from their neighbors. My father won't touch a single thing, yani, that's come from the house of a Hindu. I don't know why, because some of their sweets are so nice, okay? But my dad, I'm not interested. You know that, yeah? Doesn't touch it at all. Yeah. You didn't see? No. He comes. So okay, but what we need to avoid though are implements which are made of gold and silver, and we want to say that one can purify themselves from it, but they shouldn't use them for eating and drinking. However, using gold and silver in other items that are used by men and women is something which is allowed. Those implements of the non-Muslims, clothes and so on and so forth, is allowed. You might think, where is this discussion coming from? This discussion is coming from the fact that most of their stuff, sometimes not much of their stuff, might be in contact with filth. Okay, filth and things which are impermissible. So, for example, if it's pigskin, for example, maybe it's because they have some other kind of najasa in it, then of course we can't use it until it's clean. But some people said even if you wash it 100 times, it's never going to become clean. Yeah, well, that's obviously a bit of pack exaggeration. It will be clean. And then of course if they use a gold and silver, then we want to. Then we come to the issue of skin, and we have an important thing to say about skin. Skin can be purified by a process called tanning, which is a long process which you can look into it yourself. And the tanning the skin of an animal which was haram to use, was haram to eat, okay, will not actually be purified according to our position. So if an animal is haram in itself to eat, okay, regardless of what you do to it, okay, then it become pure. And there's so much difference of opinion on the issue of tanning, okay. You'll be able to choose so many different opinions, to the extreme that nothing is tannable, to the extreme that even pigskin can be tanned. Got two positions on the spectrum which really cover everything. And the milk and the other parts of dead, unslaughtered animals are also considered najis as well. The next chapter is the one then of cleaning the private parts. Basically what we're calling istinja, okay? The first part of the wudu process. The cleaning of the private parts before you clean the rest of your arms and face and so on. So we believe that it is recommended to say of dua, and you will go through, you can see those through the notes as you go into it. And there are a number of actions which I think that are easy for you to read as opposed to me explaining it now, because they're very, very simple to any fiqh. I just want to mention what is haram. It is haram to be urinating outside in the way of the people, or on paths that people use, or near trees and so on, which people benefit from. It is also haram to urinate whilst facing the qibla, and this is inside or outside a building. Now there's a number of differences, there's a number of opinions on this, but this is the one that we chose for our class. Now the concept of istinja and istijmar. So you've all heard of istinja, private parts with water, but there's something else which is called istijmar. Istijmar is when you use anything other than water to clean the private parts. Now classically that would be clods of earth, okay, pieces of mud and so on. That is what we would use back in the day. Nowadays it's basically toilet paper. So toilet paper, when you clean yourself with toilet paper, it's called istijmar. Now of course, as a massive bombshell upon all of the packed population of the entire world, we taught everyone that actually istijmar, the cleaning of yourself or your private parts with something hard, yani not using water, was actually not only something quite fine, but actually that was the basic principle according to the companions. Actually the way of cleaning themselves, the companions, was to use clods of earth, and to use anything other. They had no toilet paper, of course, but it wasn't using water. Water was a luxury. Yani even now water is a luxury there. Water is a luxury, was a luxury back then, and water was seen as an additional aspect that those who had it, they would use. So istijmar, the cleaning of one private parts, is something which is very, very good. That thing which you clean yourself with, that stone or that clod of earth or that paper, it has to be pure. You have to make sure that it cleans the entire area. It's not allowed for that to be dung, animal dung, kind of thing, that one, isn't it really? All right? And it can't be bones. It can't be food either. It's not permissible to do that. It can't be something which has some kind of sanctity, so that which has some respect and honor intrinsically. And it can't be a piece or part of an animal. If you're thinking why that might be, don't ask, because I have no idea why you'd want to clean yourself with a part of an animal. But when a man's got to go, man's got to go. And I guess when a man's got to clean, man's got to clean. So I'm guessing that's where that's come from. Okay? It's a must that you wipe 3 times if you're going to use something. If you're going to use something, all right, toilet paper for example, then you better make sure that you've got at least 3 pieces of paper there, okay? If you've only got 1 piece of paper, then divide it into 3 parts and be incredible in your cleaning, all right? Because I can imagine yani that doing a great job, but I can't imagine your fingers afterwards. All right, so that is and if you need to go over 3, and I do recommend that you do, okay, if you have that paper, then it is sunnah for it to be an odd number, okay, and not to be yeah, that's an odd number, right? Okay, moving on then. And it's istinja, just so that you know, the cleaning of the front and the back with water, there's no minimum amount of water. That's the good thing about istinja. Doesn't need a certain number of pourings or anything, just a constant pouring or a spray. If you're if you're in Arab lands, then the jet wash, yeah, then then that's fine. This needs to be turned on. The main condition is to clean the area. That's the main thing. Alright, so then we moved on to the chapter of ablution, wudu, which is of course what we will be doing today as well. And what did we learn? We learned that it was sunnah and not obligatory, as the Hanbalis themselves believe. We believe it's sunnah to say Bismillah, the Basmala. You'll know that, for example, when you study with us, we will give very accurate terms. The statement Bismillah means to say Bismillah. So when we say Bismillah, then that means to be before you eat Bismillah, or before you do this, say Bismillah. Basmala, the bas with a fatha, with a what did I call it again? Zabar, with a zabar, yeah, with a zabar, Basmala. Then that's to say Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Okay, the complete thingy. Yeah. Anyway, the siwak is a toothstick, okay, which is which we all know. The miswak is called a siwak, and the miswak itself, we believe that to use the actual twig from the arak tree, that is the one that you will know when you get, in the pack, then that is the one that gets the most reward. Yet, however, the function of for using the siwak, which is a sunnah virtually all times, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, before every prayer, during wudu, and any other time when the mouth taste changes or whatnot, then it is a sunnah to use that, okay? But if you use something else like your toothbrush, because you might be carrying a toothbrush around with you, I don't know, there are some people that do kind of crazy things. I think this is why they have that little kind of like that plastic box around the top part. Shaz, is that true? Is that why, Yani, you have that little box with the thing? Is it to protect the bristles, the nice soft little bristles that you guys like? Or is that, Yani, because we use it for traveling?
Only the high flyers in the special classes get those sort of things.
Okay.
We just get the simple,
So we learned something. Only the high flyers and the special classes, they get the boxes with the thingy. I think it's a great thing to carry around with you. Anyway, right. So then we talked about wudu. Okay. Now, in terms of wudu, we will quickly now just show how the wudu is done. Washing the hands 3 times at the very beginning, and this is an act of sunnah, okay? This is an act of sunnah. It is not obligatory to wash the hands straight off. The only times it's obligatory to wash the hands if you've just woken up from sleep because you don't know where your hands have been, or because you know that your hands are dirty. You will then rinse the mouth and the nose, and the rinsing of the mouth and the nose can be done individually or in one go. So either into the mouth and then clean, and then send the nose separately and then clean with the little finger, etc. Or you do all in one go, which is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is in one go, water into the mouth and into the nostril, and then squirt out the nose and squirt out the from the mouth at the same time using your finger as well. And then it will be the washing of the face, and then it would be the running of the fingers through your beard, which is a requirement, and then the washing of the right arm and then the left arm 1 time per minute. And I said the face, yes, the face completely, entirely from top of the head all the way from the sides, all the way down, as I said, running the fingers through, and that's 1 is the minimum, 3 is recommended, and then the arms up and the fingers, again, you must wash. This is, if you didn't wash your hands first time round, this will actually be the time that you're washing your hands. And so from the fingertips up into and including your elbow and higher if you possibly can. 1 is obligatory, 3 is 3 times as a sunnah. You'll wipe the head. The wiping of the head has a number of levels of excellence. It's sufficient just to do this to get the sunnah done. But if you want to get for the obligation to be covered. But if you want to do the sunnah, then it's from the front to the back and then back again. And if you have long hair, then it's permissible for you to do it in this manner. The obligation then to clean the ears is just to actually do the inside, which is the thaqab inside, okay? But the sunnah is for you to then use your hands to your fingers and for you to go around and in and out, okay? This you will find all this detail and videos on this and making of wudu in the wudu section as well. And then you will wash the feet, starting with the right hand side, then the left, up into and including the elbow. And it's sunnah to use your finger to go through the toes as well. A circumcision. And the circumcision is something which we said is obligatory for males, as long as one does not fear dying as a result. And these days, inshallah, that's not a problem. So for the males, this is the removal of the foreskin. We believe that it is something which is permissible for females. My position is that we do not consider it to be recommended. And I don't consider it to be a sunnah for the females, but we believe it has benefits. And what is female circumcision? It is the cutting of surplus skin above the labia, which is actually what we call hooding, which is a trimming effectively of the clitoral hood, and not what we know as very clearly as genital mutilation, which is the practice of some people and some cultures, which is something which is haram in the Sharia and designated as illegal by World Health Organization and all the rest of it. Whereas the one which is what we know as to be the sunnah, there is a cosmetic procedure which actually is done in the West. If you just say, I want clitoral hooding or some bakwas, they'll do it and they'll celebrate it and put you on the cover of US Today and Vogue. Whereas if you do it and say that I'm a woman and I want to be female circumcised, then you might just get shipped to Guantanamo or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. That's what they said. Right, shaving the head. Then we said about the called qaza, which is something which is impermissible, which is to cut part of the hair and leave other parts. And we went into a lot of detail. Please find that lesson, you'll enjoy it. Okay, I gave a whole load of photos, and I went through each photo showing you what is qaza, which is not, which is impermissible, which is not. Basically, it's see when a person has got a delineation between shaven and then non-shaven, okay? And I can tell you now that it was pretty much under control for the last, however many years amongst Muslims, but it's now exploded after this World Cup, and he made that line, and now I see now everyone do it. Ronaldo does it the same, and obviously these are things which follow popular sports stars. So they have now started that trend now where they very clearly, it's like a wide Mohican almost, yes? So designated it with a very clean shaven line, and then it's clearly shaven around the sides, and that's become very, very common, and that's something which is now a number of scholars said it is impermissible, okay, and the hadith seems to indicate that. However, our class position and the position of the majority of scholars is that this is a disliked action, a makruh action, not a haram one. And that brings us then, and we talked about this, what is actually haram when it comes to copying non-Muslims? Is everything haram in copying them? Is it is it permissible for us, for example, to launch this class on fireworks night when it's all great, because we want to do a big bang start to the class, that we start or not? I've been waiting to use that all day. Right, okay. And if you have any kind of questions that you want to throw at me, then of course you can. Why not? Why not? Especially any questions about any wobblers. Oh my God, how good is that video? Right, okay. So we said that the haram imitation of the disbelievers is of two types, okay? In their religious matters and in non-religious matters. So in their religious matters, it is impermissible. In their non-religious matters, okay, it's not permissible. It is permissible. However, there is a type of haram imitation, and that is even in their non-religious matters, and that is those non-religious matters which they do, and the copying is done out of a deep desire and love to be like them as part of that that system that they're producing or whatever. It is part of your, you want it to be part of your identity, and by that identity you are replacing something which is already established by Allah and His Messenger. That is an impermissible aspect. We went into a lot of detail. Okay, I think suwak is pretty straightforward. That's no really issue there. Okay, and then wudu, just a quick reminder then what the obligations are. So I gave a detailed version of the wudu, but these are the musts. You must do these following things. Number one, you must have an intention that this is, I'm about to make wudu. Okay, the statement of saying Bismillah, as I said, for the Hanbali school is an obligation, but for us it's just a sunnah. According to the Hanbali school, needs to do the madmada and the istinshaq, meaning the cleaning of the mouth and the nose. But I want to say to you that according to our class, this is not the first obligation. This is a sunnah act. And then of the face, once that is the first obligation, and then the hands up until the elbows, that is also the obligation, and then the hands, and then the head, and then the feet. Okay. Maintaining that order, maintaining the actions in that order is an obligation, and finally making sure that there's no big break in between. So it's all one continuous act. That is the last obligation. Okay then. Finally, wiping over the socks. We said that that's something which is permissible. It is permissible to wipe over the socks for a person who's at home, living at home normally, for 24 hours, and for 72 hours. If you are traveling somewhere. Okay, I want to now make sure that everyone knows exactly what we're doing here. So we'll do a nice little test on this. So what I want to know is that this time period, okay, of 24 hours. First of all, when we're saying a sock, we're talking about the khuf, which is the leather sock, which is no problem about. And we also believe that it's permissible to wipe over every other type of sock, as long as it's not like one of these kind of, those kind of gay socks. Those, what do they call them? Yeah, I don't know about lycra, but you know what I mean. Those socks that look like women's tights. You know what I mean? Yeah, the ones that, that Arab style kind of. They're kind of like mesh, kind of lace, some bakwas. I don't know. They look disgusting. When a man puts them on, you literally feel sick. Yeah. Okay. So how anyone makes the thing over? Well, I don't know. When I see that behavior, I just think to myself, son, I hope you're not making masah over those socks, because those are not socks. Huh, Sheikh? They're not socks, huh? Oh, so Sheikh said, this masjid is not allowed anyway, no masjid going on in this masjid. We don't care if you're wearing iron boots, you are not making masjid here, son, got it? Right, so, no,
take off.
Oh my God, Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar says that when he's sitting with the elderly here, we've got to make sure that no.
No, they're gone.
Oh, they're all gone. So all the uncles, we just got to make sure, and everything's on the down low. The uncles have gone. He's saying sometimes when he's sitting in the back, with the uncles, he's absolutely all set for the day with his must everything. But because the uncles are staying in the masjid, he has to take his socks off. He has to literally. I want you to understand that. Look, he has to take his socks off, so he doesn't go make wudu again. He's in wudu and he takes off. Why? Because he doesn't want them to look at the socks and be thinking, has he made mess? Has he made mess? Has he made mess? Is our prayer going to be accepted? Are we going to pray Asr behind him now? Are we going to do another Jama'ah ourselves? Whatever. So you see, our Shaykh is faqih, mashallah. Anyway, so we believe that is okay as long as it's not something which is impure by itself. When we say impure by itself, what do we mean by that? We mean that so the two conditions for us to wipe over something is that it's got to be a proper sock. It's got to be something which is like you can a normal sock, right? People look at it and say, yep, that's a man's sock. Doesn't need to be like a Yorkie and a thick one, but it just better not be a gay sock. That's all. Yeah. So you look at it, and it's just, you know what I mean. So that's a sock. Two are number one that it can't. You guys make stop. I'm not going to finish if I keep laughing. The first one is that it's got to be ritually pure. It can't be haram li'ainihi, meaning it intrinsically is haram. What would that be? Something made of pigskin, for example. That would be okay. Secondly, the sock has to cover the majority of your foot. It can't be any. It can be cut up. It can have holes. It can be a packed sock. There's no problem. Yeah, but it can't be so ripped and packed. Yani that it's it doesn't even cover half the foot. It's got to cover most of the foot. Yep. Okay then. And we allow a person not only to wipe over the sock, but also to wipe over his turban, as long as it's covering his head mostly and it's a bit difficult to take off, then that's no problem. And we also, in a Brucey bonus, allow our sisters to make a mash over their hijab, as long as they don't make a habit out of it. That's no problem, inshallah. Now, what did we say the time period for the socks? When does it start from? When does the actual time period start? From the first time that you actually, not from the moment that you put them on, no. Not from the time that you broke your wudu, yeah, no. But from the time that you actually have to then make wudu again and you wipe, which therefore actually extends this 24-hour period to something very, very convenient. Could make 30, especially if you're, you're chilling like a villain, as they say. Right, all right. And then what else? You can wipe over a splint, you can do this and that. What else can you do? I think that's about it. I think we're done. We're done, folks. That's a summary of 2 years of fiqh. You might think to yourself, what on earth did we do for 2 years, yeah? People be thinking, dang, man, what a waste of time that was, man. People now be doing bangrad at home thinking, we saved 2 years of fiqh in 20 minutes. Amazing. But to be honest, what did you do? You watched some football on Champions League during the thing? You didn't gain much. This year you can't even watch Champions League, so what are you going to do? So you might as well join us. Although Qasam Real Madrid look good, man. They're worth watching and supporting as the primary team. Should we do a thingy? Huh? What do you mean it's time now? Shut up, you. You see that miserable little pack here? He doesn't even want to do a lesson. Did you see that? Okay, let's do at least a couple of points, because there's only a few points up there anyway. So we start then, Bismillah, a major chapter which invalidate the wudu. We'll just do 5-10 minutes of this, so that at least we can say, yeah, we did start the text, because people are going to be hating. Actually, hold on. Brothers and sisters, I have to make an announcement, subhanAllah, because I met a number of people, and I know some of you guys from here are going Ilm Summit, and I have a surprise announcement. I can't believe I completely forgot. So Ilm Summit, okay, is a program which is Al-Maghrib's premier program. It's 10 days of day and night, morning to night time, mental behavior, all day, study, and then eat, and then study, eat, sleep, eat. It's a very nice place. It's that, mashallah, it's at Walkfield Park. It's like a 5-star kind of luxury retreat. It's a big kind of castle and all this kind of behavior. Golf courses, whatever. Sheikh loves that kind of behavior. So he wants to go. He wants a free ticket. He's not getting one. And it's lots of activities, climbing and this, that. Well, hopefully we've got it all, archery and all that behavior sorted out. Anyway, so I'll be teaching from the Fath al-Bari of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, the commentary to Kitab al-Ilm, and Sheikh Umar Sulaiman will be teaching Kitab al-Riqaq, which is from, again, one of the chapters of Sahih al-Bukhari, and Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim will be teaching Usul al-Sunnah, which is by Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, and that's in its own category all by itself, and Sheikh Muhammad Faqih will be there as well teaching and he will also be doing Al-Adab al-Mufrad, some chapters towards the middle of the book which are very, very nice. I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm going to let him explain that himself in his video. All this information, by the way, is on almaghrib.org/Ilm Summit. almaghrib.org/Ilm Summit. The reason I'm making this announcement is that I have a surprise announcement of a new instructor. A new instructor that we said would be a surprise that we were going to add, okay, before, and people were guessing and they didn't have any clue. And I can announce today, it's going to be Sheikh Muhammad al-Sharif, mashallah, for the first time in a long time. And he will be teaching a new, well, two things actually. He'll be teaching firstly an addendum basically to my own section on Kitab al-Ilm, which is how to put that into practice, into tangible action. And I want to say that Sheikh Muhammad, obviously his record speaks for himself. He has been able to take what he studied abroad and bring it back into the West. And if anyone has his knowledge into action to actually change the way that people think and do things and make benefit to other people, then mashallah, well, he wins the prize on that one. So he'll be doing some special sessions on that, and also he will be teaching a special version of his program called Visionaire. He will be teaching that directly from Ilm Summit. So this is something which we're all very excited about, alhamdulillah. So I just wanted to let you know that that is going down, and I am going to be there, and I'm going to eat my way through those meals. You know why I keep mentioning the eating is because those cooks, they're proper chefs, yeah. Like they do all that arty-farty kind of stuff, like cook steak and foie de gras, or whatever it's called. Foie de gras, how do you say that? How do you say Shaz? Shaz is the only guy master cook. What's it called? Master cook? Master chef, whatever. Yeah? And master cook. It was close enough, wasn't it? Yeah, you know me for master cook, master chef, same bakwas, man. But anyway, he's the guy who does fine dining. Yeah, we do Kansas. We're custom. We're gonna hit Kansas so hard after this lesson. Anyone wants to come Kansas? Yeah, you come down. We are gonna hit burgers like we're gonna hit them so hard. And Shaz, he's gonna say, I'm gonna do fine dining. Fine dining. Yeah. So anyway, chefs over there, and what happens is that basically we give them all halal ingredients. So we say, go and do pack version halal dining, fine dining. And so they cook all this crazy stuff, yeah, and it's very, very good. All right, anyway, Ilm Summit, December 19th. Make sure you go and find out if you're coming. Although I don't think there's enough places for even half the people in this room, to be honest, if I'm going to be brutally honest. All right, let's now try and do something from here. Bab Nawaqid al-Wudu. It is now the invalidators of wudu, the chapter of those things which break our wudu. Ablution, by the way, is the phrase, okay, that we use. Wudu is obviously in Arabic, yes, and we talked about the origins of that. And for people who are wondering, you can find all this information on the videos and the notes about where wudu comes from, the idea, concept, everything. Ablution, of course, is a very translation. It's a ritual translation, because ablution actually is something that other religions do. The Catholics, the Christians, of course, they have a particular special type of washing that they do before their acts of worship. So ablution is the exact translation of the word wudu. So the invalid, Shaz, I don't even have the thingy. Yeah, so I'm going to read out the English, okay, or I'm going to actually read out the Arabic first, and then we'll translate the English. This is the text itself. Bab Nawaqid al-Wudu yanqudu ma kharaja min sabilin wa kharijun min baqiyat al-badan in kana bawlan aw gha'itan aw kathiran najasan ghayrahuma wa zawal al-aqli illa yasiran min qa'idin aw qa'imin. The invalidators of ablution. Ablution is invalidated, it's cancelled, it's khalas, is cancelled by, number one, anything that exits from the urethra, or, okay, so that's the front passage or the back passage. Number two, any amount of urine or feces, or large amounts of filth, which exits from any other parts of the body, other than the front and back passage. And number three, by losing consciousness, except for a slight amount of sleep whilst you are sitting or standing. That's the text. That's the first 3 of 9. Okay, so there's much more to come, but I only put this up because we are experimenting with the new student portal and the notes, and so we're going to be changing some of the things around. So I just wanted to let you know that that's actually going to change. We're going to have the rest of the notes up later on, but that's for now going to last us at least for what? And it should last us for 1 lesson, but probably last us for 6 to be very clever and make a comment about. But that's okay because he's paying for all the chicken at Kansas, right? So Nawaqid, okay? Nawaqid in the Arabic, if we look at the first page of the Arabic text, okay, which is page 268, okay, Nawaqid is the plural of naqid, which means invalidator, okay? And this is an Arabic word. You see, when the thing itself is referring to an inanimate object, okay, in Arabic language, anything with if you want to do a plural, فائدة والله, اسم فاعل لغير العاقل فالجمع دائما فواعل. So this is it's a فائدة, okay? So the of fa'il is going to be fawa'il for the Arabic students. Basically that means that if you have a word, okay, which is inanimate and you want to pluralize, is that a word? Pluralize? If you want to pluralize a word then it will take the form structure, the weight of the Arabic verb will be fawa'il, which is when you put in fawa'il is the root kind of form, you put in noon, qaf and dad in that, and it becomes fawa'il, becomes nawaqid. So this is a basic rule. And wudu, of course, is the purification that one does to lift the state of ritual impurity. So you do this action, wudu, and your state of ritual impurity, and this is really important. If there's anything that you learn from today, it's this, and it's a beautiful benefit to go home with. All of these words, they have a different meaning if you change the dhamma, the pesh, on the front of the word, at the beginning of the word. So when you, whether it's dhamma, whether it's pesh, wudu to a wadu, to a fatha, to a zabar, okay, what happens? What does it change its meaning to? Excellent, very good. So it changes, once you make it a fatha, then it becomes that thing which is used to actually do the action that you are describing. So the wudu with a fatha, wudu is the water that allows you to make wudu. Alright? So this is the same as in the water. And Sheikh gives some examples. He says, for example, tuhur is the process of purification, but tahur is the water that you use to do that purification. So this would be, for example, the water for ghusl and the water, so it might be a lot of water. You would say, I want to do tahur, if you don't mind, can you bring me some tahur? And you would bring the whole load of water to have a bath with and everything. Make wudu. Can you bring me some wudu? Okay, which is the water to make ablution with. And this is across the Arabic language. For example, when you wake up early, as we did just the last couple of days, fasting, okay? And tomorrow, of course, is the 13th and the 14th and the 15th, which are the Ayyamul Biyad, the 3 bright nights, which we should all fast, inshallah, in emulation of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's something we should do. Wallahi, it's the Sunnah of the Prophet. And also now it's really easy as well, to be honest, because very, very short days now. So when you wake up for your sari, okay, because we're Paks and we butchered that word hardcore, and you couldn't butcher it anymore actually, the word sari comes from the word suhoor, okay? So it's suhoor. What is suhoor? What is suhoor? Let's change the fatha. If we make it sahur, and now we've got suhoor. So now that I've told you that there's a system where if you change the fatha of the word, you get different meanings, I'll let you work it out. What is sahur and what is suhoor? And then suhoor would be? Good, excellent. Sahur will be that which you make suhoor with, which is the food. Unless you're doing something crazy with it, yeah? Okay? So sahur is the food itself, and suhoor is the act of eating the food. And we know, of course, that the act is the one which is blessed, not necessarily the sahur. This is the benefit, actually, because if you look in the hadith, you can identify what the Prophet ﷺ made blessed. Now, if it was sahur that was blessed, we'd have to have certain types of food. Now, we know that the Prophet ﷺ used to eat very little, right? And so and we know that dates was his normal way. But if he had restricted that blessing to the sahur, then we would have had to eat dates to get the reward. By the mercy of Allah and His Messenger ﷺ, He made the suhoor blessed, which means that if you're very, very tired, some kind of issue and you just want to do with the packed version, which is a glass of sip of water at the bedside, because no one's ever done that before, then sip of water and you take part of the blessing of the suhoor, because the process and the time itself is blessed. Of course is the focus, because the time we already know is blessed, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that the people of Allah, the people of ihsan and taqwa are awake at that time already. What are they doing? وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ hum yastaghfirun. Okay, in the ashar, in the very early times of the morning, they are seeking forgiveness. So we know that that's a very special time to be awake anyway. So it's a suhoor itself, which is so that's a very interesting point. Now, when we talk about that which invalidates the wudu, there are two aspects to this. Okay, there are those things which are absolutely clear, which there's no discussion about. It is either based upon the directly via a nas is a divine text, or a statement of the hadith, or ijma', consensus of the companions. So, for example, going to feces, for example, defecating or urinating, and so on. Another section of the invalidators of wudu, which is purely down to ijtihad. Okay, which is down to the juristic reasoning of the scholars. And there are a number of things here, which we're going to cover in the next few weeks. For example, such as vaginal flatulence, for example, such as vaginal discharge, for example, such as other items that pass through the body and exit. These are not mentioned, for example, directly by nas. So are these from the nawaqid or not? So that's an introduction to the chapter. I think that's sufficient as an introduction, because Shazad's eyes are glowing and he's saying that we've already been here, whatnot. I don't know why he's so much desperate to go home. You had dinner today anyway, Shaz, right? Oh, right, sorry. That's it. You see, when? Guy's hungry, yada. So, we need to go. So, that's an introduction to the chapter. I will take, because Bismillah, we want to make it every week, we will take one or two questions or a few questions to make sure that we have started. I've kept my promise that we are in a new system. We will do contemporary issues at the end of the session. So if there's anyone, priority always goes to Chido, folks. Online, don't hate, because these are my brethren from local, and it's nice to see some faces locally. Nadif, I think you got a candidate there behind you, bro. Okay, so pass us that. And anyone from the brothers, because the brothers get priority over the sisters them, because you're my brethren first and they be my sister them, which is not the same, but girls, they can't, mashallah. Okay then, so the question is, can one pray salah if they are really sweaty after or whilst working out at the gym? Please don't laugh, I won't, but this is my logic. Urine is najis, and when you sweat amino acids and urea, as well as urea equals urea is somehow equal to Allah, I tried my best not to laugh. I tried my best. I wasn't gonna laugh, but when I got to the end there, I had to laugh, yara. If this was true, we would be in big trouble, yara. And then it got me, where are you sweating buckets all the time when we're praying? Have you prayed in this masjid? Have you prayed in any masjid? Well, imagine that we didn't have any AC. So no, this is not the case. But we will cover this though. It is actually a serious question. Is sweat and its matters, are they considered filth or not? You've actually just preceded the next few weeks' lessons. But it's actually, and so it is permissible to pray in the gym. Okay. If a bride and groom have but do not have their walima months or years later, are they allowed to consummate their marriage, or do they have to wait for the walima? The reason they have to wait for the walima is because the bride's two older sisters aren't married yet, and parents will not allow her to get married until at least the eldest is. I think clear, okay? That marriage in Sharia is the nikah, okay? There's nothing to do with the walima. Walima itself, even some have differed over its obligatory nature or not, okay? There's three things here we don't want to mess up, we don't want to confuse. The nikah, which is, okay, not its practical meaning, but its technical meaning, is the contract of marriage. Once that is done, once the wali of the girl accepts the offer which is given by the boy in front of the imam and two witnesses, I would like to marry your daughter. Okay, I accept. On what basis? Upon this mahar. We want to pay it now? No, I'm going to be a pack and pay it 20 years time. Fine, no problem, job done. Witnesses, everyone happy? Signed. This person they're married now, that's it. Doesn't need the world. Doesn't need to be a party, doesn't need to be food, doesn't need to be nawab booking. Just done. Okay? Khalas. Yeah? Can we please, by the way, if you're going to get married anytime soon, can we please stop using nawab and can we try out Jilanis instead? Yeah? Good. Right. So, once this nikah is done, be careful. Owner of nawab, then can we alternate, please? So I just heard that the owner of nawab attends this masjid. So if we can alternate on, I'm sure Bobs will be happy with that arrangement too. So nikah is a contract. It's literally a contract. That's done. You are now married. What does that make you do? Because you've probably been in contact with the boys and girl. The boy and girl have been in contact already. They've been speaking to each other and whatever. What was impermissible before was obviously any physical contact and also being alone by yourselves. Speaking on the phone, keeping it clean or whatever. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Sheikh Nasi. But late though, that's the problem. Late. Online, but you have to wait because إذا حضر الطعام انقطع الكلام شيخ صح. When the food comes, the talking stops. Yeah. Shaz, wallahi, is so hungry. I just want to judge me, okay, guys? All right. Don't judge me because a man has to look after himself. Okay. All right. I don't think that the sisters really want this, to be honest. Yeah. Because all right. Disclaimers. There we go. Okay, very good. I don't know why they all went for hiding. There we go. You guys can pass it around now. They're all done. All right. Actually, let me just give a little couple to the ingredient packs. Right. There we go. All right. So that's the nikah. Okay. That's done. And as a result of the nikah, what can happen now? Everything can happen. Okay. Hey, focus. Whoever asked me the question, stop eating sweets and listen. Okay. Right. So now everything can be done. Sah? So we're talking consummation of the marriage, being alone, dates, blah, 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 blah. Everything can happen because nikah is done. The rest is now cultural nonsense, okay? Now, when that marriage has been consummated, okay, after that it is sunnah then to have a party, okay, and a large gathering, right? So I want you to know that according to this question, the marriage can be consummated, everything can happen because the nikah has been done. Walima can happen publicly later on. The whole reason nikah was done early was to make sure that there's no haram in between. There's no problem them delaying the walima or public nature of the marriage as long as the witnesses and we know that the marriage has been done. That's the key thing. And finally, a non-Muslim in our university, in our community, passed away a few days ago from meningitis. Is it permissible for men and women to attend his funeral, and is it okay to send flowers? Yes, it is permissible to condole and to give condolences to the family, and it is good to do that, and sending flowers is no problem at all. That's a general understanding of respect and so on and so forth. They should be visited and nice words and should say some good general things without saying anything which is haram, i.e. By saying he's in a better place or he's in this, these kind of natural things that we say which are not allowed to say. As for the attending,
you wrote it's on the PG website as well, the page.
About Christian, yes, there's an article that I've written. If you type in Abu Isa and Christian funeral or Christian's funeral, that's a very detailed one. That's about a Christian funeral itself. I answered that the question is about visiting attending the funeral. The funeral can be attended as a mark of respect as long as it does not have any religious connotations. The reality is that most of them do. Okay, if there is a service that is offered in a church, it is impermissible to be part of that. If you feel it's very, very difficult to avoid that because of the political pressure and whatnot, you would attend and you do the kind of move that I do, which is to go in early or very quickly or publicly and meet the family, let them know that you're there, and then leave. And then don't be partaking in part of that process. Be outside, sit outside, go around a corner, and then come back once everyone has come back out. They know that you were there. They're not looking for you around whilst you're inside. You avoid incurring the wrath of Allah Ta'ala, because to be part of that jama' is to do something which is haram, to be part of that act of worship. If it's a cremation or something like that, then one should not witness the cremation. That's not religious, but it is haram to cremate, so we don't want to be supporting that. And when they sit around and they have a sing song and stuff, they call it a wake, I think, then that's such a load of rubbish that doesn't matter what you do there, it's okay. Right, so that will be enough. I think we fulfilled all our quotas. Yes, we did a review of 2 years of fiqh. We had Quran, we gave a reminder, we cussed Shazad, we got Bob some business, we started the chapter, and We answered some questions, and I think that's it. I think that's okay. And we got chocolates, which is very, very good. And that's important that continues, because as long as the chocolates continue, the fiqh will continue. As long as the fiqh continues, life will continue. Then what else do we care about? جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك اللهم وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.